Hello and welcome to the Fred Hampton Leftist Roundtable. Today is September 30th, 2021. My host, what in the world? I'm your host today, JB Font, James Fauntleroy. We are live today. We will be having other Fred Hampton Leftist co-hosts that will be pouring in over the next couple of hours. But for now, it is me for right now. I just want to welcome everyone for coming in. Thank you so much for joining us today. Looking at the people in the chat, human love solidarity. It's is the interesting question. How does one build community with chatters blocking others? Communication is key to building. Could there be an unblocked jubilee to enhance the conversation? That's a good question. Um, as far as we definitely do need more communication and to be able to come together. Especially, there are some things that we may disagree on, but there's a lot that we do agree on. And so maybe, just maybe, if we can come to a consensus on many different things and work towards achieving that, yeah, it could be a conversation to be had. Uh, Good afternoon to Matthew Lerma. Keish Eats and Vlogs. Hello, nice to meet you. Welcome to the Fred Hampton Leftist Roundtable. Troy C. Hello. Gene. Good to see you. Brett. Nice to have you. Um, Bill Bradley. Very nice to see you. I haven't seen, for some reason, it feels like I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't seen your name in a while. So it's good to have you. Um, See, Gary. Uh, that was trolls make me stronger. Narissa. Hey, how's it going? Let me see. That's nice. Okay. Let me see. Who else do we have? Lucifer Morningstar. Hello. How nice to have you. John AK. What's up? What's up? Matt Bradley. Oh, thank you for watching us from New Zealand. Um, hello from the past, and nice to see somebody from the future, so to speak. And anybody else that comes into the chat, we'll make sure we'll say our greetings and hello to them. Okay, so like I said before, other FHL members are going to pour in over the next few minutes. And so they will be here. And oh, Robert Hutchins, nice to have you. Skeptical Mantis, yes, eat the rich. Grab your hot sauce and eat the rich. Yeah, of course. Um, how I said that so nonchalantly. But yeah, yeah, of course. Um, but yeah, so one of the things that I wanted to start off with for the roundtable today, and as they pour in, then we're actually going to have this conversation because it needs to be done, needs to be had. Hello, Charlie's Brown's Rebellion and the Pale Horse. I'm going to share my screen if I can. Okay. Um, Hang on. Let me. I just wanted to make sure I had something correct. And you guys are probably, if you're on Twitter, then you've already have talked about this. So okay, so this is from CNN Business. I know. It's mainstream media. Yeah. Um, they suck. Yes, of course. But this is from Matt Egan of CNN Business. It says U.S. government will run out of money by October 18th. Treasury Secretary says. So uh, it says Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, what a character, warned lawmakers that the federal government will likely run out of cash in extraordinary measures by October 18th unless Congress raises the debt ceiling. The new estimate from Yellen raises the risk that the United States could default on its debt in a matter of weeks if Washington fails to act. A default would likely be catastrophic, tanking markets and the economy and delaying payments to millions of Americans. It is uncertain whether we could continue to meet all the nation's commitments after that date, Yellen wrote in a letter, adding that the projection is based on estimated tax payments. Previously, Treasury Department estimated that it would run out of cash, and according to maneuvers, at some point in October. This warning comes hours after Senate Republicans blocked a bill that would have suspended the debt limit. Let me see, and I will finish off with this paragraph. Yellen cautioned the October 18th deadline only as an estimate because the federal government cash flows are subject to unavoidable vi- uh, variability. She noted that the government's daily gross cash flow, excluding financing, averages nearly $50 billion per day over the past year and has even exceeded 300 billion. It is important to remember that these estimates regarding how long our remaining extraordinary measures and cash may last can unpredictably shift forward or backward, Yellen wrote. This uncertainty underscores the critical importance of not wanting to raise or suspend the debt limit. The full faith and credit of the United States should put at risk. The risk is that Congress runs out of cash earlier than expected, setting the stage for an accidental default. Now, from what I learned about MMT, modern monetary theory, this entire article is bullshit. Why? Why, JB? Why would you say that? Why would you say that is bullshit? It is clearly going to bankrupt us. Clearly, right? No, wrong. It's not. Actually, the thing is that when it comes to this type of money, that
Earlier
we
than expected,
hey, well,
setting
um,
stage for an accidental default.
what's going on is that the government's talking about that they're going to run out of money, which is complete and utter bullshit because the thing is, it actually makes money. Yes, Rome, I want to see you smile because this is laughable as hell. Because the thing is that if you are a in a currency issuer and you have a fiat currency, that means you can will money into existence. So
Yeah,
therefore, you can't really go broke at all.
yeah.
So the whole thing about, oh, we're gonna run out of money, this entire article is just a ploy to make everybody feel like, oh my god, we're gonna run out of money. And it's like,
It's to make them feel more comfortable when Biden start running up in our bank accounts. He already want to watch what over $600 that we transfer, and they're gonna tax the poor with they're trying to tax the poor
mm-hmm,
for a new stimulus check. So
yeah,
this is like their go-to. This is this is their excuse. Like, oh,
mm-hmm,
we don't have any more money, so we have to take it from the poor people. We have to tax poor people. Like, what the hell? No, do what AOC said. She wore that dress for what? Tax the rich then. Like, what the
mm-hmm.
hell? I got a whole grinder right here, and I'm still
Yeah.
breaking.
And E. Heller, here's the funny thing. Um, You said Senate voted 65 to 35 and the House voted 254 to 175 to fund the government through December 3rd. So there's 210 deadbeats in Congress who will skip out on a restaurant check. Here's the thing though. If you have a credit card that you don't have to pay back, that has unlimited cash and you never run out, is it really just running out of the restaurant without paying a check? I
Yep.
mean, guess what? They can pay it and then some. It's not really an issue. This entire article is just fear mongering at its best.
Oh yeah.
They're just basically saying, "Oh well, we're gonna run out of money," and basically it's political theater, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring up this article. So this is actually political theater that is used to propagate everybody into thinking that the government's hands our hands are tied, and you know this is
You
why
know what?
we can't fund things like.
Let them say stupid shit like this, because all it's gonna do is give us time to radicalize people and be like, this is the best capitalism can do. Crash every 4 to 10 years.
Yeah,
And it haven't even been 4 years. We still are in a recession. We're about to go broke again. It's out of recession, it's out of depression.
mm-hmm. But here's the funny part. It's basically making people think, oh, we can't afford, a true Green New Deal, a real Green New Deal. We can't afford giving everybody health care. We can't afford. See, we have this debt ceiling. We really can't afford it. That's like, you know, it's stupid because you're creating a ceiling when sky's the limit. It's like, well, I want to make this bottle rocket go off, but I have this ceiling on top of me that I can only go so far. But you're outside.
Right.
You're outside. And you're saying, oh, but we can only make this rocket go up so much. Why? Well, because it's some stupid arbitrary reason.
Because I don't get money if y'all well off.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, it's just so stupid. So, so whenever you guys see articles like this, especially on Twitter or something like that, pay them no mind. And then when people want to tell you, oh, but the government can't, and even still, let's just take MMT out of the equation, right? If that weren't true, they still gave $1 billion to Israel. Number one. Number two, they still are funding the Defense Department by hundreds of billions of dollars unnecessarily. So that's actually adding insult to injury. So yeah, they're basically saying the debt ceiling is basically saying we don't want to give things that will actually improve your material benefits.
Yeah.
That's all it really is.
Because it's not going to come back to them fast enough. Not fast enough to, giving $1 million to a charity that they already own.
Mm-hmm.
So they get that money back quick, fast, in a hurry. Taking care of people. That's when you lose money. You're gonna have to start really building stuff around. You know what I'm saying? Like they need a sick. They need a sick, and I need a lighter. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. But yeah. Oh, hey, Jackie.
Hi. It's JB, the Black Avenger.
Okay. Sorry. I had to do something. I was just like, oh, Lord. I was like, she put me on the spot. Wait, hold up. JB, do something. Do something. I was like, sorry. I had to. But yeah, I was talking about this article right now about the debt ceiling. I'm talking about how much bullshit it really is. About basically it's just a means for people to say, oh, well, we really just don't want to do anything for you guys. That's the real reason behind it. But they're fear mongering and making people think, oh, we can't afford to do any of these things that the left actually wants us to do. Well, it's not even the left. It's the general populace of all Americans. We want these things to be done, and they're like, oh, we can't do it because we have a debt ceiling, and it's bullshit. So
indeed,
yeah.
I wish Andy were here for this topic because
I do.
He'd be all over it.
Yes, this is one of the
The
reasons.
one time he doesn't come is when you talk in his field.
I know. Andy, come back.
What is Rome doing? We can still see you, right?
We see you.
Like we can see you in the reflection of your camera of your TV.
I can't see nothing.
Yes, the bat signal, and there he is.
Yes.
Yay!
Why don't get that started?
You guys are pathetic. Come on now. Jesus.
So Andy,
I'm sorry. It's supposed to be like Cheers. We're supposed to say Andy when he comes in. Sorry, forgot.
Go I can't sing it too much because then we might get demonetized or something.
Or canceled.
Yeah.
It's okay. I think that you're off key enough. I don't think the algorithm would recognize it.
That was an insult, Jack. You just said I'm off key.
I
Oh,
love it.
I know.
Cancel Jackie. My God. Okay.
Hi, all of the people saying Jackie.
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay. So Andy, I am
Yes,
so glad you're here.
Okay.
Because
Glad to be here.
we are in your wheelhouse right now.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to share my
Look
screen.
all around you. It's a house of wheels.
Yes, I am going.
Just for you.
I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm going to preface this by saying you're going to see this and you're going to smell the bullshit.
All right.
Ready?
Okay.
All right. Look, the U.S. government will run out of money by October 18th. Treasury Secretary says.
Right.
I just want you to go off, please.
Well, okay. First of all, and this is probably going to be surprising, but it's actually a fairly correct statement, believe it or not. Okay. Technically, the government will run out of the ability to spend money because of the debt ceiling. Okay. So if you're thinking in terms of technicalness, this is an actual correct statement. Okay. The government cannot spend any more money in the economy because they've hit the debt ceiling. Okay. But you've already touched on this, right? The reason why they're running out of money is because of this arbitrary number that just keeps getting raised, right? The United States is the only country in the world that has a debt limit ceiling like this. Rep Yarmouth stated that, and I didn't know this, but Denmark, the country of Denmark, has a debt ceiling as well, but it automatically rises when they spend more.
Okay.
So it's kind of like having a voluntary fire ban,
Okay.
right? You cannot have a campfire at your campsite if you don't want to, right? So it makes no sense. Why is there a debt ceiling?
Yeah.
If we know MMT, that we know that the government can't run out of money, that it's not like a household budget, it's totally different. When the government spends on anything, it is new money created by Congress through the Fed. Okay. When money is taxed, it is deleted out of the system. So money doesn't just circulate forever back and forth through the hands. It actually has a finite life. It is born into existence when the government spends on anything. And when you or someone else or a business corporation pays taxes, it's the end of that currency's life. Okay. If we understand that money basically is just keeping tally up and down of people's bank accounts, right? Money added, money subtracted, then we understand that the government is more of a scorekeeper, right? If you're the scorekeeper in a football game, your team goes down the field and they get a touchdown. So before the conversion, the scorekeeper marks 6 points for the team that scored the touchdown. The question you should be asking yourself is, where did those points come from? He just marked them up. They just came from nowhere. These 6 points came into existence the minute that touchdown was scored. Okay. Let's say that the other coach sees that the player running into the end zone went out of bounds before he got in the end zone. So he throws his flag and they review the play. Okay. And the touchdown, the 6 points are taken off because it wasn't a touchdown. Where did those points go? They're just removed, right? This is the way that money works in a sovereign nation like the United States, like Canada, like the UK, like Japan, like Australia. Okay. It is basically keeping a tally of money up and money down in people's bank accounts. It does not have a life. The other thing I want people to realize is stop saying printing money. A very tiny portion of currency in the world right now is those little dollar bills. Most money lives in cyberspace in bank accounts as numbers, little points of light. So you think, well, we can't just keep printing money. We don't use paper notes for anything, right? You go work for whoever you work for. Through direct deposit, the money goes into your account. You go home, you go into your online banking, you pay your bills, you go into the grocery store, you buy your groceries, use your debit card or your credit card or whatever, right? Not and every single transaction, not one little piece of paper ever changed hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the government gives a contract to, say, let's say Lockheed Martin to do something, to build something to do with war or whatever, right? They don't print $25 billion and load it into Brinks trucks and take it to Lockheed Martin's headquarters. Okay, they simply tell the Federal Reserve to mark up the accounts. Say, go into the account of Lockheed Martin and put the money in their account. And
So what
that's
you're saying
money
is we need to
creation.
find someone that's great at hacking to make my invisible numbers go up. I'm just saying, you know, if they can give us
you're
money
communist.
out
You're
of
communist.
I can just pull the money out of the air, right?
You don't want money.
Not me. I'm just so to say.
I just want to point out that we have blackified the white people because now everybody's on CP time. Hi, Meg.
Hi.
This is what happens when you hang out with black people too much. See?
Wait, what?
Y'all used to be in early. Now you late, just like us.
I was working.
Mm-hmm.
I just got home.
I don't know if it's laid out the same, but you guys, JB, Rome, Jackie, you guys are in the top level. Meg and I are in the bottom level.
Okay, to be fair, you guys did join later. So,
oh Lord.
Oh, by the way, before we continue, I just want to let you know, I haven't. My wife has been away for 3 weeks. She's coming home today. She might be home any minute. The minute she walks in the door, I'm not even saying goodbye.
Sayonara.
Okay, just please turn the camera off before things get a little too rowdy. Okay.
Yes.
We don't want to be demonetized.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
We'll get a lot of views though.
Yes,
I'm sure we would.
I'll go to Rockfin.
The channel
first.
goes down.
I'll just go to Rockfin.
Okay.
So Meg, welcome.
What's
we're basically apparently not the debt ceiling. So right now we're talking about the article that came out from CNN about the debt ceiling, and basically just talking about they're going to be running out of money. Andy was just so kind enough to correct us and saying that yes, the government can basically run out of money, but it's an arbitrary ceiling, and it is not actually that the government is running out of money. It's just like a limit that they set for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Did I get that right, Andy? Okay.
Yes.
So
basically, it's like Christianity. You have to let Jesus in, or else he's gonna send you to hell. So if you don't bring Jesus in, then you have to save yourself from what he's gonna do to you if you don't save yourself.
Not the analogy I would make.
Capitalist edition.
Okay.
I was just giving a metaphor for the people so they could understand.
Yeah.
But basically,
this is interesting.
Arbitrary number that just and John Yarmouth also said that since the 1970s or since he's been in politics that the debt ceiling has been raised 72 times, right? If all of this money that we keep that America keeps spending into the economy, when is it that America ever had to pay any of it back in its 230 years?
Mm-hmm.
Good question.
You know, that it's I believe it was just before Reagan when a lot of the conservative cartoon, like the cartoon people that do the little cartoon boxes in places like the Wall Street Journal, have been every year putting out a cartoon that is this ginormous weight of money that's weighing against the country, that's we're going to be putting on the backs of our children and our grandchildren. How dare we as responsible citizens? It started in the billions, right? Back then, it was like some small number of 7 billion, right? It's now up to 21 or 20, between 21 and 27 trillion, somewhere like that. At what point does it become a problem?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We don't see it. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all bullshit. It's a way to keep poor people poor and not do anything to help anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can have a socialist policy for rich people and for corporations, but for the rest of you, pay go, right? We've gone into the Federal Reserve, into the lounge, we checked the cushion under the cushions on the couch. There's nothing there for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring attention to this tweet that I had tagged you in, Andy.
Okay.
And so I was asking a question, and I tagged Stephanie Kilton, Jabari Morris, Andy, Carey, and Steve Grumbine. And I had asked the question, according to some of the lessons taught by modern monetary theory, the whole semantics of calling it a debt ceiling, debt limit I ask, isn't that misleading as well? Just as raising the money / US currency that is in circulation? Um, and many people are confirming what I said to be correct. I wanted to get in real time your answer to that question, Andy.
I'm sorry, you can't get it in real time, but you can watch his recorded response.
Well, okay. So basically, we're calling it a debt limit and a debt ceiling because it feeds the narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because in, I think it was 1971, Richard Nixon took the put the American economy, took it off of the Bretton Woods Accord, right? So it basically the Bretton Woods Accord was a peg against the currency, right? So that you could only have so much depending on how much gold you had or whatever the peg was at that time. So when you do that, you're basically, what you're doing is you're allowing your currency on the free market to float. Okay, it's not pegged to anything, but depending on how strong your economy is, like your natural resources in your country, your manufacturing sector, your imports versus exports, if your economy is strong enough, you can freely float your currency on the market, and then you are not beholden to anyone, right? And that's what Nixon did back in 1971. The problem is they didn't update any of the economic textbooks, right? And there was a gentleman by the name of Pete Peterson, who was a confidant of Nixon, who was there when the Bretton Woods Accord was dissolved. And basically, he started the Pete Peterson Foundation, and they are the ultimate overseers of the debt clock, right? That we can't let the debt get out of problems. They all knew what they were doing when they took them off the Bretton Woods Accord. They all knew that they were allowing America to freely spend the money that they needed to spend, right? The only real limit is resources, not the money. It's the
Got it.
resources put in society to absorb that money, to absorb that spending. Right. So if we understand that, if we can get our heads around the concept that money isn't necessarily a physical thing, it's more of a concept, right? Then we can come to terms with the fact that America can spend as much money as it can with respect to the resources that are there, like the goods and services, right? If you give, we can say, well, why don't we just give everybody a $5 million a check, send them to them, put them in their mailbox. You can't give people a whole shit ton of money like that without having the good services in the market to absorb that spending. That's the definition of hyperinflation, right? So part of a more just society for us is paying for things like a UBS, Universal Basic Services, right? Medicare for all, free college, free university, all of the progressive policies that we talk about, right? That gives more money to people in their pockets to spend on other things other than those things that they're currently spending the money on. But if we have a job guarantee put in place with those things, then we have the physical capacity to create the things or import the things that will absorb that extra spending that's in society, and then we don't get inflation. So there's all these things that are involved with it. And I'm sorry to get away from the debt ceiling, but the debt ceiling is just an arbitrary number. Why do they keep raising it? Why doesn't it affect anything when they raise it? How come we're not in trouble every time it goes up? It keeps going up. It doesn't do anything. It's basically one party is holding the other party hostage so that they can get concessions. Right, the Republicans are currently saying that there's 46 senators that have signed a agreement that they absolutely refuse to vote for a rise in the debt ceiling, and that cripples government. Who does that affect? Not them. People that rely on government. People that rely on them for what? Food stamps, for a disability check, right? Those are the people that get screwed once again.
Me, people like me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right?
For
All because of political theater.
Thank you for the super chat. The money go to the bills to stop Jackie for yelling at me.
No, not our money. The question is for the U.S. money.
No, I'm talking about the super chat.
Yeah, his question was, where does this money go? The U.S. money. That's what he's
I thought it was about the money that you whatever. But this money was to stop Jackie from yelling at me.
Okay, can I kind of hop on to this because I
feel
like this will kind of go into that response because I've seen quite a few comments also on China. So let me address this real quick. That basically what Andy is saying is correct. Basically, all the money that we have now, because back in the early 20th century, it was backed up by gold, and we are no longer on the gold standard. That was passed, I believe, during right before the Great Depression, if I remember correctly.
I think it was 17. Anyway.
Okay, I knew I could have been wrong, but so there is not really anything backing up your U.S. currency. We have a fiat currency, so we can print as much currency and put as much currency into circulation as we want, because the United States cannot go broke because we have a fiat currency. It is not possible for the United States to go broke. Okay, and I see a lot of comments about that we're in debt to China. This is also a lie. The United States is not in debt to China. China does not lend any money to the United States. Go read Stephanie Kelton's book, The Deficit Myth, and you will learn this. Basically, what happens is that because we get so much of our our products now are created, or all that production happens in China. Whenever we are bringing those products back into the United States, technically we do have a trade deficit with China. So in order to pay for those goods that we import from China, the Fed basically changes yellow dollars and green dollars, is what how Stephanie Kelton explains it. So that green dollars are the money that you spend, yellow dollars are US Treasuries. So we give US Treasuries to China, and so basically they're just like changing numbers on a spreadsheet. Whenever we owe something to China, we just move it from yellow dollars over to green dollars and back over to yellow dollars. So that's how it all works. We're not actually exchanging any money for any goods or services from China. We don't actually have a debt with them. And it makes sense for both countries to still be in that relationship. So whenever they talk about the debt ceiling, or whenever they talk about a deficit with China, all of this is just an excuse in order to not actually do anything. They're using it as an excuse not to actually accomplish anything. Just like the parliamentarian, they need some kind of rotating villain in order to make sure that our government can't do anything for its people. Because we are hostage to capital, and that is it. Our government belongs to capital. It doesn't belong to us. So as long as capital says, no, you can't do those things, they have to find excuses for why our government cannot work for the people. And that's the whole point here, is that they're just trying to find new excuses and different rotating villains in order for us to be fighting each other, instead of actually fighting who is our actual enemy. Because guess where all those US Treasuries and where all that debt actually is? All that debt exists in billionaires' bank accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Like all those bonds and treasuries, a lot of it, some of it, they exchange it to different countries like China, but a lot of it is just being hoarded by billionaires. And if we would just tax that money back, a lot of that debt would go away, because all that debt clock is telling us is how much money is out in circulation. That's it. There is no debt.
This concludes our portion of Canadians Explain the U.S. government to Americans. I just want to...
We'll look at Canadians explaining more things.
But there was also a good point from there's also a good point from Danny too, that he's right. There are entry-level workers, and particularly workers in a lot of service work, particularly in restaurants, that don't have direct checking. And a lot of those companies have started switching over to like prepaid debit cards, which are very costly to people. Like, because every single time that you use that card, you're paying in order to spend your money. It's absolute bonkers ridiculous.
Yeah.
My job has direct deposit, and if for some reason you don't have a bank, they just give you a card. It's not a prepaid debit card. It's literally like a card. Like I still have it because I didn't have my bank information when I started working.
I also have that in JB.
And
club.
Rome, you and I, we failed the assignment because we didn't bring our homework.
You did not bring your book to class.
But we showed up unprepared for
I usually skip school. You lucky I'm here.
So there's a comment that I wanted to discuss. MMT is just too good to be true. We need to start taxing the rich instead of just borrowing money from them at interest.
And that's a lovely thought, but completely wrong.
Rome's dying. Okay.
Go ahead. The problem with saying that, and this is a point of contention that a lot of people will say, is that we need to tax the rich. And MMT says, well, you don't need to tax the rich in order to spend. But no MMT person has ever said you shouldn't tax the rich. We should tax the shit out of the rich.
Yes.
We should tax the B right off of the billionaire. Get them down to closer to us, right?
Thousandaires.
But just because they're too rich. not for any other reason. We don't need their money. When they pay taxes, that money disappears.
We should just redistribute it. Is truly the thing.
I
We
wanted
need to tax
ask,
it
I
and
wanted to
redistribute
ask
it.
because you guys seem like, you know, I'm a little touched up on this stuff, but I just wanted to know, like, what happens? Let's just say somebody with $1 trillion just disappears, their whole heir to the throne. Everybody just disappears in the thin air. What can we do with this money? I'm just saying, you know, I'm not.
Well, I mean, let's face it. If one of the billionaires were to magically disappear, their money doesn't, because they all have like wills and trusts, and if anything happens to them, that money gets redistributed to whomever they give it to.
Right, and because of Trump changing the rules, and
I'm just saying that
right,
they're heirs.
stays
I'm
in their
saying they're
families.
heirs. The people that they're going to leave their wills to, everybody in their families, everybody that's close to them. Let's say whoever was going to, let's say there is no owner to this money anymore. There's nobody around or alive to take this money.
Well, we used to have a system, which that's what Andy was, I think, getting on. It used to be when someone wealthy died, their money was taxed heavily before it was passed on to the next generation.
Right.
We call this essentially an inheritance tax. Trump basically gutted that.
Yes.
The estate tax, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the Republicans put a evil spin on it by calling it the death tax, right? Making it sound worse than it actually was. Basically, what it does is it gets rid of generational overwealth, right? Like somebody is born into a family, and simply because of where they're born, they're now the next billionaire for doing nothing, right? And then that money just makes money, and and that's why you have these dynasty families, like the Koch brothers, like the Walton family, that just keep getting richer and richer, and because of
the
rules.
You said the wall.
Waltons.
Sam Walton's children, the people who own Walmart.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
children and
you're naming all these
rich
people, and I'm just here. I'm just seeing the wall. You said the wall. I'm kind of sorry. I'm sorry. Continue.
No problem. So the reason why this money should be taxed is because these people hold the advantage in our society because of the rules that have changed, the deregulation from the banking industry, the mortgage industry. We're seeing the nth stage of capitalism, right? Which is how it works, where there's so much wealth and inequality, and then you end up getting to a point like the French Revolution or the Russian Revolution or Sendamang, the Haiti Revolution, which is a really good one because the black slaves in Haiti kicked the ass of the three most powerful nations in the world with nothing. They slaughtered them, and they gained their freedom. And eventually those revelations happen because the people have nothing. When you have nothing to lose. Right?
Yeah.
Why did Martin Luther King Jr. and that crew cross the bridge? Because they put it all on the line because they had nothing left to lose.
Oh, it wasn't to get to the other side?
No, that's
oh, okay.
Jackie.
I don't know what color the chicken was.
I'm high.
Yeah. And not to mention that the French and Russian revolutions actually started because women started bread riots.
So what Meg is saying is it's all the women's fault for not starting the riots here. We got to get in the streets, and then the men will be like,
"Let's go, ladies!
I guess we have to
ladies.
show up." Yet again, it's all on women.
And
he was only able to do that so publicly because he was so racist and openly racist about it, you know. And he was calling black women all types of stuff, calling black babies. What was that saying? I don't even want to hear.
Welfare queens.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but that was by design because the Republicans. So basically, this is the reason why a lot of things like the country has shifted right for the last 40 years is because the people with money have hired people who specialize in marketing and psychological tactics to rebrand things. Like Andy was saying, it used to be called the inheritance tax or what have you, and then they were like, call it the death tax, because nobody likes to think about dying, and then they'll vote it out. Even though this, like, the people who will vote it out are people who will never touch. It will never affect them. As a matter of fact, it actually helps them because that money gets recirculated when these people die, as opposed to like just letting rich people, stay rich and become even richer. And the funniest thing to me about all of this is that in like all of these slogans, all of this rebranding that they do to help us pass to make us vote for things against our own interest, it's complete lies. Like, the thought is that if you don't work, you're lazy. And so everybody's got this, the US has this like, go to work and be a productive member of society. This was started by people who want to keep inheriting money so they never have to work a day in their lives.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense, and people don't think about it. They don't actually see what's happening. But what happened in like the 60s was that it actually started before Reagan. Reagan just kicked it off. Like, he took the ball and ran with it. But Nixon wanted to change over plans, and like basically they've been trying to gut the so-called entitlements pretty much ever since they came out. And Nixon came up with a brilliant plan of like, hey, if we put black people's faces on it, then people, and make it basically do a class divide so that poor white people think that it's all black people on it, not even realizing that we're only 12% of the population.
Always have.
Then they'll vote against it because they don't want their tax dollars going to a poor black person. That's part of the rebranding. That's why, like I said, Reagan took the ball and ran with it, and he came up with welfare queens and all of that. That's when he gutted all of our social safety net, because he just put a black face on it and said, do you want, like, there's a line in a Garth Brooks song. It said, but when your dollar goes to all of those standing in the welfare line, even as rich as Garth Brooks is today, he is still closer to being homeless than he is a billionaire. Because that's how much $1 billion is. People don't realize that. And it's this rebranding of pretty much everything to make people think that the absolute opposite is true.
Right. It's the same vilifying of Muslims after either 9/11. The one thing that you can say that the Republicans are amazing at is that kind of rebranding of things. Like, instead of saying anti-abortion, you say pro-life, right? Because the connotations are so much better from something that sounds favorable than something that sounds negative, right? You're not anti-union. The state is right to work, right? All they're masters of rebranding that way. These are all horrible policies, but because they sound good, it fools people into thinking that they're good things. But these are policies that have taken money out of people's pockets for decades, right? Oh. Guess who that is?
Is it party time?
Yep.
Hello.
Okay.
So
Quite
Perfect.
the yodel.
you're right.
Don't mute yourself. I want to be in your business, nigga.
No. Wrong.
Rome.
That's
We
funny.
can't be nosy even though we want to be.
Shit, I'm about to lick his lips.
Nope. Wrong.
Sayonara.
Bad wrong. Anywho.
But yeah, that was a great discussion about MMT. Did you guys have any final thoughts about that before I move on to the next story that I wanted to get to?
Nope, I think we're good.
Is this going to be on the test? Meg is here.
Bring
I
in
feel
the
like I
deficit
should have
myth.
prepared. Okay. I didn't do the homework.
Jackie, you didn't study for this test?
I didn't. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
I'm not sorry.
We'll reschedule it for next week. I'll be kind.
You guys
You
get
know
20
what's
minutes
sad?
more.
Children
Oh,
who
it's-
people
we
who are
get 20
still
minutes more.
20
Okay,
minutes
20
more.
minutes. Okay.
all right.
People who are
That-
still in school.
This
don't
is your
listen to
next
me right now.
assignment, JB. This is your next assignment. Can you see it?
yes, I did.
Yes.
Okay.
Which one is that? No.
This is the
Oh, yeah.
case for a job guaranteed by Pavlina Chernova. She
Okay.
is one super smart cookie. She was a PhD student at UMKC when Warren Mosler and Bill Mitchell and Matt Forstater put together the concept of modern money and what we now know as MMT. And she is basically the spokesperson for the job guarantee. And the job guarantee this is an amazing book. And it's very short read. It's very easy to read. It's just like The Deficit Myth, like Stephanie Kelton's book. But this is very valuable to get your head around, because this policy is the policy that ties all the rest of the other policies together.
I hope she's paying you for us advertising.
Okay,
Not
but does
a
it have
cent.
pictures?
No, it doesn't. But it
Damn.
does. If you look here, that there's a lovely.
Jackie, are you Gaston?
There's a lovely
How can you read
script
this? It
there
has no
from
pictures.
Pavlina, my friend. Pavlina.
Oh, Andy's plugging his friends. I see.
Well, I got
Hey.
the opportunity because of my audio editing experience. There was a ambient sound in the background of the recording of chapter 4 for the audiobook, and she asked me if I could fix it, and I did. So, who's a good
Amazing. Look at you.
Very nice.
Look
Very
at
nice.
you.
I just want to say a quick thanks to everybody watching us on Rockfin.
Yes, definitely.
Rockfin.
Thank you for
Rome.
watching us on Rockfin.
I'll be
Rome,
over there in a
the
minute.
home of Rome,
The
Rockfin.
home of Rome. And yes, Robert, those are the Madison
Rome's home.
Avenue people. They literally went to the advertising people in Madison Avenue and were like, hey, help us out.
Mhm.
That's how they came up with all the stuff to rebrand. So basically, the very same reason why in the middle of watching TV, you suddenly really want fried chicken. Those are the people who make you think, hey, the wealthy did earn their money.
Mm. Interesting. Oh, by the way, speaking of money,
Somebody gonna give me some?
well, we definitely need it.
You said it so
Um,
enthusiastically, JB. You had me on the hook there.
I was sure we were going to
That's
see
why
fat
they
stacks
picked me to
coming out.
be. That's why they picked me as the host. So I'm gonna share. I'm gonna do like Savvy, share my screen. And also, by the way, stay tuned. In about 35 minutes,
What are you doing,
Savvy will be
bro?
here. I don't know what
Personal
Rome's
grooming.
doing,
This
But
fool
you
just
got-
grabbed an
nice.
afro
All
pick
right.
for his beard.
but all right, guys, ready?
Go.
All right,
Set, go.
all right. Oh, let me.
Oh.
Okay, as you guys can read,
Ah.
this is from the Wall Street Journal. Sorry, we're doing another mainstream media publication, but I'm not focused on the publication. I'm focused on the headline. 131 federal judges broke the law by hearing cases where they had a financial interest. Subheading says the judges failed to recuse themselves from 685 lawsuits from 2010 to 2018 involving firms which they or their family held shares, a Wall Street Journal investigation found. First of all, from that headline, I'm going to start off with Meg. What is your thoughts?
I think my face says it all. You should just zoom in on my face.
Understood.
I mean, seriously.
That is officially
Seriously.
Meg's shocked face.
Mm,
That is my shocked face.
Yes.
okay. Very interesting.
Honestly, how? Of fucking course. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Is anybody surprised by this news?
No,
Anyone? Bueller.
absolutely not.
Bueller.
Bueller.
Anyone? Is anyone surprised by this news? Nope, not. Like, hello, even Amy Coney Barrett. She refused to recuse herself on a case for Exxon in which her father worked for Exxon almost his entire life. And she refused to recuse herself. So yeah, I'm not surprised by this whatsoever. Our system's corrupt.
What?
Our system is corrupt. Steve Donziger. Again, I think it's Chevron. Okay, I'm always getting this wrong. I think it's Chevron. I said Exxon last time, but Steve Donziger, I believe it's Chevron. Chevron, who they paid off a judge and then prosecuted him because the DA's office would not prosecute Steve Donziger, brought in Chevron's lawyers to prosecute Steve Donziger. This is how corrupt our system is. That corporations own our legal system as much as they own everything else.
Yep.
So no, I am not fucking surprised that they have broken this law over 600 times in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Color me surprised.
Consider yourself colored.
Walk away from the obvious color joke there.
I'm sorry, Jackie. I'm sorry.
I feel like y'all forget who you're on panel with sometimes.
Okay, good. I got it right this time. It's Chevron.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm literally just here for the comic relief.
Okay.
Because politics gets too serious. You got to lighten up.
Yeah, Jackie. Speaking of which, what are your thoughts on this as well?
You want to know what I think?
Yes, I want to know what you think because I
zoom in on her surprise face.
No, I'm surprised that anybody wants to know what I think because normally most people are like, "Yeah, just next." I think somebody said it best, and I can't find the comment because like 900 comments have posted. But anyway, somebody was like, throw the whole government away. It's corrupt. And I'm like, that's the energy that I need for this Thursday morning / afternoon, because it's technically afternoon. But you get me. Like, I just woke up, so it's morning for me. But anywho, that's my... I like this whole... Here it is. Found it. Yay! Abolish our whole government. What the fuck is this? That's what I'm saying. Remember a couple weeks ago when I was like, do we need a Supreme Court? And some people were like, yeah. And then everybody's like, well, we should, change.
Change my mind.
Yeah. So this is why I said, do we need the Supreme Court? Because people were like, well, we should vote for them. We vote for these judges. We vote for Congress, who we know for a fact has been doing insider trading. Not like the people in Congress at some point, like the very people in there right now, both representatives and senators have been doing insider trading.
Nancy Pelosi belongs in jail.
Exactly.
No, she belongs in an ice cream freezer.
Nancy Pelosi,
different kind of freezer, I think.
Literally will literally like she's the head of like dishing out committees, right? She will literally take their advice of like who we should pay, just like we were talking about a minute ago. They decide who to pay. She will say, okay, we've decided to pay Tesla for government contracts. Then she tells her husband invests in Tesla. They invest in Tesla right now while it's low. And then when they get the government contract, it spikes. They get their money, they pull out. She's been doing this the whole time she's been in Congress. And she's not the only one. And the judges, all of them. And then, not to mention the fact that our Constitution was written before there were even radios, and now we have the internet. It also still says, it technically didn't abolish slavery. It just kind of changed the conditions of it. On top of that, it still says that a black man is only 3/4 of a person. Women just aren't even on there. So let's, I don't know, get rid of the whole fucking thing and start over, because this is not a constitution or a government set up to work for the people. It is set up to work for the wealthy people. It was designed like that. It's still like that. And I think we need our French cousins to come over and give us more than a statue. They need to help us burn that bitch down.
I'm surprised they ain't got no self-destruction button in that motherfucker.
Please, Rome.
Please bring the guillotines.
Yeah. Your thoughts on this article about judges, please.
I mean, sure. I've been in jail a couple of times, and I didn't seen local judges do, break the law. Like I know, I know.
Yep.
Like yeah, and some of these same judges be worth $2-3 million, and that's kind of rich for being a local judge in Detroit. Doing all these cases back to back that you're doing. Somewhere down the line, all these judges, all these people is just corrupt. That's the game. This is why they get in the game. You know what I'm saying? Because they just some of them, I ain't gonna say all of them are corrupt. Some people do get some people do step forward in this system and think that they can make little changes and think that they're going to be the inspiration or the Tiger Woods, Eminem, Martin Luther King of this or whatever. But they just get swallowed whole by the system like the rest of them do. And they become, birds of a feather flock together. They become the people like that they are around. They become, only after the revolution.
Rome should not be a judge. No, because
after the revolution, send me all the rich people.
This man is high 89% of the time. He would have a ruling like pigeons are jailed now. You can't don't do that.
No. See, look, I believe pigeons are real. I don't believe that they are.
See, you thought I was kidding. Okay.
I believe that they are real.
The spawn of Satan.
I know about that conspiracy though, but no, yeah. All these judges, this whole system just have to be flipped over and burnt down, and we just got to rebuild from the ashes, man. Because if they only saying it's 120 something judges because they don't want to get too far. They know that once you get far like that, it started. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to start looking at politicians. Then you got to start looking at a whole bunch of people. So yeah. I'm pretty sure they don't want to go that far, so they're gonna get their scapegoats. They're probably gonna face little to no jail time for this. They're gonna pay a fine, and we're gonna forget about this, and we're gonna probably be mad at
I'm sorry. Who's gonna make them pay a fine? It's literally judges. Judges have to find themselves guilty or their friends.
Yeah,
they're not gonna do that.
Yeah,
they're not like this was just letting us know, hey, by the way, your government's completely corrupt. Nothing's gonna come of it. They're not even gonna pay a fine. Because it's like seriously, it would be like I commit a crime and then I go to Meg and I say, I mean, do you really if you make me guilty, then somebody's going to find you guilty for the shit that you're doing that other people don't know about. Do you really want to do that? And she's going to be like, damn, you have a point. And then all of a sudden I'm innocent. Yeah. That's what's going to happen. Nothing's going to come of this. If any judge gets...
It's like industry is regulating themselves.
Yes. If any judge gets any kind of sentence, it's because that judge... they're using that judge as a scapegoat, and probably that judge pissed everybody off in some kind of way.
Right.
Basically, they'll be the Derek Chauvin of judges.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna promise you better, but they ain't nothing really gonna change. Oh no.
So there's a comment I want to address.
They promise better, but they ain't gonna promise change.
This one. When the Sand Queen said the problem with the Constitutional Convention is we all know who would be writing it, and the end result would not be better. I think you missed the part when I said our French cousins come help us, and then we burn it down. And so those people aren't there anymore. Like they're not there. The people you're talking about are not the people I'm talking about. Because those people would be in a completely different state of consciousness. So,
they need weaponry out there.
They are friends of the guillotine.
Oh, give me the guillotine. Yeah.
It is a French word.
It is. You know why? Because
croissants and guillotines.
You guillotine is the registrar.
Thank you for paying our bills this week, Jobu. Yeah, they'll hire half of us to kill the other half. How do we stop that? We take.
They already do.
I was going to say they already do, and how we stop that is we say thank you for teaching us how to use your weapons and for giving us the weapons to use. We're going to politely decline to use them on each other, and we're going to turn them on you.
Mhm.
Again, we talk to the French. There's a manual for this. These people could teach us.
Yeah.
It is a manual of how to put together a guillotine.
Yes, but
And
manual is
and
a
Haitian.
Spanish word.
It is put in, but it is written in Swedish and it has an Alex wrench. Again, I ask, what was the IKEA brand of guillotine? I don't remember what we said.
The IKEA brand of guillotine? I don't know.
Or we talked about it during our Hunger Games episode. I just don't remember what it
Dude,
was.
I don't remember most of what happened in that episode because that was so crazy. It was weird. It was like it was like all of us had like drank some kind of weird flavored water because we were like, I was trying to eat pizza. You had the giggle fits. It was so weird.
Okay.
I'm gonna look it up now.
So
JB's like, settle down.
Yes. Simadonna. Sana Sama.
I'll be back. Yeah, because I am not about to take this number. I'll be right back.
What the hell was that? I have no idea. Okay, Andy. So your thoughts on the title for that article?
Blonde.
Well, I should really launch into a history lesson and tirade, but unfortunately, I've only got a few minutes left. But basically, the problem right now, and I hearken back to an interview that we had with a gentleman by the name of Ron Kuby, who is a longtime defense lawyer who has a history of defending people of who protesters and from the civil rights movement, all that. Very lovely gentleman. One of the very first interviews that Carrie and I did. And he described to us that the most important thing in the courtroom on a daily basis wasn't so much doling out justice or correct decisions. It was making it out for lunch on time at noon. Okay. When we think about our history and what's happened over the last century, let's say, right? Remember in 1929, the Great Depression. The reason that basically happened was the same reason why we had the financial crisis in 08, why they had the savings and loan crisis in the late 90s, in the early 2000s, the Keating Five, the same reason the Enron scandal. These are all just bad actors behaving badly, right? In 1933, the U.S. started a hearing, and a lawyer, Sicilian, by the name of Ferdinand Pecora, started putting the biggest bankers of the day on trial, and was a master of telling stories. And he basically got the government of the day to rewrite the laws. At that time, a law came in called Glass-Steagall, which basically put a border between the banking industry and the securities industry. Okay. We had prosperity for white people in the United States for 35 to 40 years, right? The boomer in times, right up to the 60s. Starting with Reagan, the governments of the time, up until finally Bill Clinton, they were able to dismantle and finally get rid of the Glass-Steagall law, which kept the two industries apart. And then all the bad stuff that started happening in the 1910s and 20s that led up to the Great Depression all started happening again and led to the great financial crisis in 08. Is not just this industry. These are every aspect of the mortgage industry. The people that work in the clerk's offices, all of these corporations that do these subprime mortgages, I mean, they bundled them as securities, sold them, they were worthless. People lost everything, right? There were 12 million foreclosures between 08 and 2012 in the United States because of the fraud and corruption of these industries. And it's still happening, right? But the reason that this is continuing is because the judges that rule on these foreclosures are also as corrupt and fraudulent as the banking industry, as the mortgage industry, rubber stamping these foreclosures without even hearing the people that are being foreclosed on. The entire industry is corrupt. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't surprise me the stories come out like this, where these judges haven't recused themselves because they've had family members that are involved in these cases, right? They've been emboldened. The judges, the judiciary has been emboldened by the bad actors and by the fraud and the corruption in the system since the dismantling of Glass-Steagall by Bill Clinton. So don't be surprised by any of these stories. Mm-hmm. And I would imagine I'm probably going to have to jump off here very soon.
No.
But that was a great history lesson. Thank you so much for that, Andy. I didn't even get into the meat of the article yet. We're just going off on the title. I mean the headline. And you know, if you have to leave, just go ahead, Andy. But I'm going to start off just for a couple of lines on this.
So maybe I will. Sorry, just maybe I'll just say goodbye now, so I don't have to kind of just pop out. So thanks for having me, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Andy.
Bye.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and then there were four.
It says from the Wall Street Journal, it says more than 130 federal judges have violated U.S. law and judicial ethics by overseeing court cases involving companies in which they or their family own stock. A Wall Street Journal investigation found that judges have improperly failed to disqualify themselves from 685 court cases around the nation since 2010. The jurors were appointed by nearly every president from Lyndon Johnson to Donald Trump. About 2/3 of federal district judges disclosed holdings of individual stocks, and nearly 1 of every 5 who did heard at least one case involving those stocks. Alerted to the violations by the journal, 56 of the judges have directed court clerks to notify parties of 329 lawsuits that they should have recused themselves. That means new judges might be assigned, potentially upending rulings. So this is really interesting, and it actually goes into the cases regarding judges like Edgardo Ramos, Louis Babcock, Julia Smith Gibbons, and many other judges who failed to recuse themselves and made money.
I'm sorry, could you go back up
sure.
to the pictures?
Oh gosh. Oh Lord. Go off, Rome. Go off. Go ahead.
Of course the nigga in the middle gets it. I don't give a fuck what they say. He did that shit.
Rome.
Yeah. Well, you got a point. Yeah. Can I scroll some more, Rome?
That nigga look like an evil scientist, dog. All right. Go ahead, JB. You go ahead. I'm sorry.
He do look like a little bit like an evil scientist, though. But you know, I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. Okay, so there was a point that I wanted to, bring out.
Does he twirl that mustache? I must know.
Probably. Okay, so it says nothing bars judges from owning stocks, The federal law passed in 1974 has prohibited judges from hearing cases that involve a party in which they, their spouses, or their minor children have a legal or equitable interest, however small. That law and the Judicial Conference of the United States, which is the federal court's policy making body, requires judges to avoid even the appearance of a conflict. Although most lawsuits don't directly affect a company's stock price, the Supreme Court in 1988 said that the law's purpose is to promote confidence in the judiciary. We do not have confidence. Do we? Anybody? We don't have confidence.
Again, surprise face.
Yes, surprise face. All that right there. Yeah, no surprise. And one of the things that people need to realize is that people talk about the law being blind, not in the United States. Anybody who's watching from another country right now, we're letting you know what the deal is, because they'll say, well, like one of the judges, I think it was Babcock or one of them, they were like, well, we didn't know. And I'm like, wait, you don't look at your finances? You don't know what you're invested in?
That's funny, because they tell poor people that the reason they're poor is because they get a latte. Ever.
Or avocado toast.
If you have ever paid in your life for anything that you ever enjoy, that's why you're poor.
I'm like, what the hell?
Not because you don't make enough money.
My life.
Because
I remember
the
somebody
rich are
said that
exploiting
to
you.
me. I was like, I never had avocado. I don't even know what you're talking about.
You can't even pronounce it.
There you go. We don't get that
okay,
in our
see,
store.
Rome, I get why you don't get it, because avocado is for some reason a California thing. I don't know why, but it is. If
It's
you
a Florida
see
thing.
anything California, like if you see, like, go to a restaurant and you see like the California burger or like the California sandwich or the California pizza, I guarantee you it has avocado,
California
maybe
roll.
even bacon. Anything with California in it, anything with California in the name, it has avocado. Apparently, it's our thing, and sometimes bacon, but it's almost always avocado. Like
And
pretty
is it
much, the
guacamole?
word California in
I like
food
that.
just means avocado.
Okay.
That's all it means.
Green testicles, that's what I like to call them. But they
Well,
are
I'm eating
Florida
right now,
things.
'cause I'm hungry.
so-
I don't care.
sorry, Jackie.
'Cause I'm
But
getting-
Apparently, they're just so expensive. They're keeping all of us from owning houses.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yet judges, they can have, they can rule in favor of these different companies that they have a conflict of interest in, and yet they don't even get a slap on the wrist. It's like, oh, oops, sorry, I ruled in favor of Exxon Mobil, even though I knew that I didn't know that we didn't have stock in Exxon Mobil. I'm sorry. I ruled in favor of them in the tune of millions of dollars. It's like, what kind of fools do you take us for? Like, what? So this is one of the reasons why a lot of us talk about doing things in direct action. Because it's just like in Revenge of the Sith, what Mace Windu said, they have control of the Senate and the courts. Exactly.
Did you take this to Star Wars? I don't
Yes,
think you
I
realize
did.
who's on this panel.
Yes, I did. I did think Star Wars. You know why? Because not only am I semi a nerd, but I also date a nerd.
Welcome to Nerdologics, Thursday edition.
Welcome
This is
to
a special
Nerdology,
Roundtable
Thursday
edition of
brought to you
Nerdologics.
by
Fun
Oh,
fact:
and
we
y'all-
actually
y'all
broke
can't do
down
this and
Star
never watch
Wars
Star
with
Wars.
Ryan Knight. What?
What's up?
I never watched Star Wars. So okay.
Due to technical difficulties, Rome has been from the street.
I was a gangbanger. What the hell y'all want?
We want you to watch some damn Star Wars, Rome.
I watch Dragon Ball.
That's like saying
I
you haven't seen The
go out and I
Godfather. Or
gangbang.
you've never
I
watched.
watched
That was
Dragon
great.
Ball Z, but you won't watch Star Wars?
He has
Dragon-
memorized Dragon Ball Z. Like, what?
Dragon Ball it was like it was a way of
That's like his religion.
it was a religion for a lot of young black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely go check out our episode with Ryan Knight talking about Star Wars.
Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, Come on, man.
How you gonna just say that?
You busting
Like,
up my rhythm, bro.
Hey, I
Not
don't know.
something I thought anybody would
Goku all
listen
day,
to.
man. That's my dad, man.
Yeah,
My
but you're
dad.
supposed to know who Lando Calrissian is, bro. It's like the only
Look,
black
I'll
dude
put
in
my
Star
grandma on.
Wars. Come on, man.
Not true. You
Well,
literally
Mace
said Mace
Windu.
Windu.
Well, Mace Windu from the original series, it was Lando Calrissian. Then in the prequels you have Mace Windu, and then you have Finn, in the sequels. But still,
Man, there's
three
like
people.
one black
Wait,
guy
there's
per,
There are
per
only
trilogy.
6 Star Wars movies. What are you talking about?
Huh?
There are only 6 Star Wars movies.
She doesn't like the
That's a lot of fucking movies.
sequels
Oh, I see what you did there.
or prequels.
Okay, all
Which
right.
ones don't you
We're
like?
not getting into that because you know what? If we get into that, then the whole chat's gonna go crazy. Okay, so we're not gonna get into that. But back to the article. Yeah. So
See, this is the same reason why I had to shut down the Princess Bride quotes, because we'll just keep going and it'll just next thing
Who's
you know, it's
Jenny
over.
Calendar?
inconceivable.
What?
I said inconceivable.
I would suggest Mega's Jenny Calendar. Who's Jenny Calendar?
What happened?
Yeah, who is Jenny Calendar? Oh, it's the Return of Big Dogs.
I have no idea who Jenny Calendar is, but yeah.
No,
So
Oh,
I mean,
that's so bad.
Saw a lot of Buffy references earlier.
but this brings back into my memory of the I think the story of a bunch of judges that were putting juveniles in juvenile detention or in jails because they actually owned stock in those private prison companies that held juveniles, and then they were pushing to put them in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just shows how the corruption is within this country, and how, like, look, this is why we always talk about direct action, because it's like, wait, like, how are we going to depend on the courts if the courts are corrupt? How are we going to depend on the police if they are a white supremacist institution that are always, that their only, actual duty and prime directive is to protect capital and protect property and keep us, basically at bay like a bunch of zookeepers in a zoo? Like, what is the point of even, depending on them? Because the thing is that at the end of the day, what justice is being served at all? The only justice that I can actually see being served in an actual fashion is us doing direct action and people donating to mutual aid and helping people out. That's the only actual justice that I see.
If you want to get into heaven, you got to donate to Tour for the Poor.
You want to get into heaven, donate to Tour for the Poor.
That's the only way you get into heaven.
Yes.
Yeah. These are the new indulgences.
Decreed by an atheist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huh? Shut up.
I'm sorry.
This is the new form
I'm
of
trying to open up a
indulgences.
church here.
We need to,
Hallelujah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Charlie Brown Rebellion. You're talking about institutions
it's
like
Charlie Brown's, not Charlie's Brown. That's a whole different rebellion.
I don't want to get in trouble. But still, like, I don't know if you're talking about actual ICE, or you're talking about the immigration and customs enforcement. But I'm assuming the immigration and customs enforcement, they were created back in the early 2000s. We don't need them. We don't need them at all.
Does anybody know how we got them? Like, what was the legislation that brought them into existence?
Please
Patriot Act?
Oh!
Yeah. Who wrote the precursor to the Patriot Act?
Joe Biden.
That's why I kept saying you can't hire the guy who created your problems to solve your problems.
I told them that. That's like asking God to take away your cancer. I'm like, he's trying to kill you. He put it there for a reason. No, I'm playing.
What the fuck, Rome?
The comments.
Y'all gonna screenshot this my expressions, and y'all just gonna share it on Twitter. I know. Quaker socialist.
We need like a disclaimer video so that anytime Rome says something, we can pop that up there real quick. Be like, the comments expressed by Rome Thea.
Do not
everybody feel like this.
Of Fred Hampton Leftists at large.
Everybody feel like this.
Just like a please don't demonetize us / don't cancel us scroll that just goes up.
Oh Lord, wait,
And we can do it in Star Wars style. That would be so awesome. Hey, does anybody know how to do that? Because I know we have like really cool people who watch us, and you guys are like totally awesome. Does anybody know how to do the scrolling Star Wars text? And if so, could you email us? Go to our website. It's on our email list, please. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But God, Rome threw me off, man. Now I'm trying to remember what I was going to say.
That's his job. Also, why am I red?
Yeah, you do look like Bernie Sanders in that one interview.
Sabby's going to walk in here and she's going to be like, what in the hell are you guys doing?
There, now I'm gray. I need a light. I should probably put my light on.
Yeah, that's probably
I would assume so.
That's probably the problem. I need to bring my light down.
What are you trying to say, JB?
That you're starting to look a little JB-ish in the camera right now.
Damn,
I got the
wrong light.
I got the wrong light on my left.
I got a light on, and look how chocolatey I am.
Hey, you know
why
what?
Why didn't you delete Ron Paul's page?
What?
YouTube deleted Ron Paul's entire page. Why? What did he do?
Ron Paul?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Because he like Republican, right?
He's a libertarian.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Republican nigga. But I grew up on Ron Paul. I'm not even gonna lie. I grew up like he was like one of the first politicians I actually got into. We talking about the old white guy, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, as opposed to all the rest of them.
Yeah, he wasn't that bad back in like 2006 something. Like I had a couple of things that I was like, all right, this nigga make some sense.
When you were like,
there was a lot of things that
Damn, you must have been like 12, 13 at the time.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
God, I'm so old.
Quick thing.
Damn.
You weren't even born in the 70s. Shut up. So I want to talk about Bill Bradley's comment. You know what? Whipple just said in 1977 he stood in line to go see Star Wars, and I'm like, I'm not gonna comment on that because I wasn't born until the next year. So literally nobody on this panel was born at that time. So I wasn't gonna try to make him feel old. And you sitting there like, I'm so old. You're like, you're.
What the fuck did Ron Placone do?
Exactly. Like everybody's page is like a lot of people's
the next
pages
apocalypse.
Yeah.
Okay. So Bill Bradley said we need to reform our entire immigration system. Abolishing ICE just means the government sets up a new organization to do the same job, the same way ICE just does what the INS used to do. Incorrect. Because again, this is a new form of government. We don't need ICE. We never did. This is just a way for them to it's a way for them to take away liberties. ICE was entirely designed to go after people in a legal way. Because, like, if you notice, like most border patrols aren't legal. This is a legal way for them to do that. That's why they pretty much anything that came from the Patriot Act is just to take away U.S. freedoms. Okay, it's what allowed them to spy on us. It is what created ICE, which usually what ICE does is it goes through and takes people and just illegally rips them from their environment and detains them. We have a process in place already to get rid of people who are here illegally and who don't want to follow the rules. Okay, we already had that system. ICE is just like, that took too long. We're just going to kidnap people. So we don't need to replace it. We can just abolish it and go back to the system we had before that was nice and legal. In other words, we're not really, when we talk about this, we're not really saying just abolish ICE. We're saying repeal the Patriot Act.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. But we're not going to have to worry about this if we just overthrow the government. We can just do it our way. How about that?
Well, okay, so Bill just said, yes, INS used to do that before ICE. No, what I just said, like, ICE can illegally kidnap people on suspicion of them being here illegally, whereas INS had a process. It took forever for INS to come after people unless somebody like called them and said, yo, this dude's doing this, this dude's hiring a bunch of people illegally. They still have to investigate. They can't just go and kidnap people. And then when they investigate, people have to go on trial. ICE is essentially the U.S.'s Guantanamo Bay, but like at home. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference. The difference is there's a legal process you had to go through. That's what INS has to do. Whereas ICE doesn't have that process. They're streamlined. They can just get you and keep you. And if they can decide to either keep you or to just put you instant deportation. We don't have instant deportations. Like there's a movie called The Sun Is Also a Star. It's about this girl whose family is going through deportation. She has 30 days. And the process took like a year. Okay, that's what INS does. ICE just goes, no, you're gone. And they take you right then. It's not a process that they have to go through like everybody else.
That was deporting citizens. Like it was
okay, everybody do it. Wait, it
was plenty of stories coming out of them deporting citizens, deporting documented immigrants, people that had paperwork, you know what I'm saying, to be here, and they were still just taking them and just throwing them off. So yeah, I ain't never seen like after like I want to say during Obama, like when I start like during Southwest Detroit, it's a lot of we have a lot of Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, you know, they all go to Southwest Detroit, and a lot of them was like just getting deported. And you know, it's a long ride to get to Michigan, man. It's a long way to get up here from the South. So man, it's just
is it about the length of the state of California?
Man, communities.
Savvy's here, so I have to go savage on you East Coasters.
Oh no!
Oh, my one California ass can handle all of y'all.
Oh no!
Hey, so how about those Yankees, Savvy? How you doing?
Oh, why? You know what?
She's from Boston. She don't care about no Yankees.
Dude, she literally did a TikTok about it. She did two.
So much.
She had one when she was walking away from the stadium, and another one like the next day. She was like, "I can't believe they won."
I can't.
It's all about the money. I'll be telling the Detroit Lions fans, I'll be like, you know, if y'all bought their jerseys, they'll win. They just win. They'll win more.
No. The Detroit Lions are allergic to winning. What would y'all do if you actually won?
Man, don't ask me. I don't even watch the sports, but I know money make the.
I do watch sports. That's why I know the Lions are allergic to winning. I think it's in the contract. They can only get so far.
Oh, she coming down on both of us wrong.
Yeah, I told you. On all of y'all.
I mean,
Sabby's from Boston. She's morally obligated to hate the Yankees.
I don't watch sports because I don't like the military. The military and sports, like ROTC, got me off of sports because it made me see why what they are actually teaching us in school. Like they are preparing us to either military or NBA, NFL. That was it. Like they weren't even like all the they took away art. They took away the good science classes. I was like, yeah.
Oh, especially in black schools, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like we can't afford this. We can't afford this, and they just like a lot of people went to the military. A lot of people went to the that didn't go to the military. Went to the police force. I'm like, nigga, after all them licks that we have hit, after all that stuff that we did, you went to the police force.
Yep.
It's just, I don't know. I just see sports for, I don't know. It's just a military mindset, especially all that working out. Y'all get me messed up. I work out them all the time.
Well, you weigh 48 pounds soaking wet. Okay, I'm gonna move on from this.
I don't.
All right, Jay, you want to reiterate the story for Savvy so she can read
it? Yes. So, Savvy, welcome. So glad to see you. We're actually talking about. I gotta share my screen again. Hang on. Let me get that up for you.
Okay, while you're bringing that up,
I'm already there, baby.
Oh, okay. Fine. Just cut off the black woman. Nobody cares what she is.
I'm going from one black woman to another. So, this article from the Wall Street Journal says 131 federal judges broke the law by hearing cases where they had a financial interest. Your thoughts?
I am not surprised. I'm not surprised. I started learning this stuff like years ago from comic books. I'm not even kidding you.
What?
And like I know it's fiction, but there's some truth in a lot of it, especially with Marvel. You know, if you go and you watch Arrow, that's DC, but if you watch Arrow on
I was
Netflix,
gonna say you say Marvel and then immediately pivot to DC.
I did. DC has good shows, bad movies, but good shows. But if you watch Arrow on Netflix, the whole show is about corruption. The police department is corrupt. The judges are corrupt. And the judges at one point during that show, the judges are paid to hear certain cases.
Sorry.
Politics.
I couldn't help it.
We have
I was
Star.
like, what in the hell just happened?
Because we're talking comics. I'm sorry.
It's true. And just like Professor X and Magneto are supposed to be similar to Malcolm and Martin Luther King.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. I'm starting to look at
Welcome to this
Thanos a
Thursday
little bit more
special of
favorably now.
Nerdolitics.
This is the Roundtable edition of Nerdolitics. The show you never knew you always wanted.
Although we will be having a show like this on Monday, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
We will, because I completely forgot what we were doing, but I remember now. Yep.
Okay. But yeah, so you know, and Savvy, now that you're here, one of the things that just as a example, it says a New York judge, Eduardo Ramos, handled a suit between ExxonMobil Corporation unit and TIG Insurance Company over pollution claim while owing between $15,001 and $50,000 of Exxon stock, according to his financial disclosure form. He accepted an arbitration panel's opinion that TIG should pay Exxon $25 million and added $8 million of interest to the tab. So he basically owned their stock and then he judged in their favor, which is many different examples that are brought out in this investigative article.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a personal like invested interest, you should be removed. You shouldn't be allowed to try that case at all. You shouldn't be involved.
It should be illegal, right?
They don't even allow judges to. I mean, they don't even allow lawyers to. You know, half of the time they won't allow you to take up for your spouses. So, yeah. So,
but I mean, are there going to be any repercussions? It's like, are they going to be held accountable?
So, in Jackie's speech, who watches The Watchmen? Except there's no Ozymandias to save us.
You
so
savvy. You're a good one. Yeah.
I just want to address some people real quick. Is this the Race Hustlers channel? Of course it is. My bad. Stupid question. Yep. Wait, that's why it's a panel of both black and white people. Yep. That was a great observation. Some people are stupid. And then there was another one. I'm just saying.
What the fuck did that mean?
Stupid prize. It meant that somebody didn't understand what the hell they were doing. So
and then booty hole.
I have a question. Like, are you being sarcastic? Because sarcasm doesn't really show up well in print. Or are you saying this in earnest?
He gotta be saying that sarcastically.
Yeah. I wish we had a sarcastic font so people would know. Because you never know.
Put a /S. That's how you can mark sarcasm. /S.
Okay, /S.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
I say this country needs to be split up in like 6 different parts. We need like 6 different governments.
Did you say 6 different governments? Look, man, we have too many already. Okay, you gonna make the anarchist in me just jump right out and land on a table.
No, we don't. I still believe in separation of people, man. A lot of people.
I still believe in no government.
This is a big landmass. I think separation should be good.
Me too. Separation of power from those.
It's too many people here. It's too many people here for one government and 2 parties.
I agree with Bill Bradley. He says, I mean, are rich people really making their own investments, or do they have someone managing their investments? First answer to that question, the article brings out that yes, they have somebody managing their investments. Judges should judges' investments should be made public, and we should know who has what. I agree. We should know. And the thing is that,
Everybody should
in
wear
fact,
the
I'll go even
NASCAR
further.
things,
They
Mhm.
the
shouldn't.
stickers.
They shouldn't. I mean, if they want to have investments, okay, fine, but they shouldn't be. They should have an automatic recusal. And then some of them say that they have this like website where it has to be exactly the right spelling and stuff like that. But I mean, look, you shouldn't. Y'all get paid enough. I'm just being real. Y'all judges, y'all get paid enough. Y'all have pensions and shit.
Mhm.
So you know what? No, I mean, if you want to be a judge, you're going to be a public servant. Then that's exactly what you're going to be, a public servant, and then you get your pension at the end of your life. You want to be. If you're trying to be rich, then go and do that in a different sector. But if you're going to be a judge, you know what? Maybe am I being a little unreasonable here?
No.
Yep.
No.
Because you're not giving me the chance to be evil and take advantage of my connections and my power that I
Look,
have went
Black
to school
Sluther,
for,
calm
that
down.
my father paid for. My father paid for this education. Really, I'm still a dumbass, but hey, you're not letting me use my position to take advantage of these power of these people and basically murder people in the world.
Mm.
Sorry, but we actually want people to live.
Yeah.
I'm a damn judge here.
No, see, I told y'all, whoever put that comment in, that's what happens. I told you.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody earlier said that Rome should be a judge, and I was like, no, no, he shouldn't.
Yeah. And so, okay, so look,
like,
you're right. You're right. The Canadian government has no leg to stand on. You're right about that.
Yeah, do not get it twisted. Canada, and I'm speaking as a Canadian, okay? Canada has no moral high ground, none whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Don't they own like 90% of the fucking mines and some shit like that?
Canada is like moderately there's very few things that Canada is better on than the United States. Very few.
We need to get Lance on here. Anybody who's on TikTok knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Are so nice because they have health.
Modern Warrior. Hey, colonizer. Oh, I love Lance.
Okay.
Is Sabby frozen, or is she just like not moving? Nope, she's just not moving. Okay, never mind.
I'm sorry, my shirt is doing weird things on the video.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now you've got Rome looking up close on your shirt.
I'm too hot.
That was not a good idea.
All right.
Nope. JB, is there any other stories you want to talk about?
Yes, I do. Hang on. I'm looking at the chat and I'm like seeing things. Hang on.
Yeah, very true. Creative experiments.
Okay.
Canada is not good to its native people.
Okay. All right. So I have one more story. Let me get rid of this. All right.
So while you're looking that up, apparently Ron Placone lost his YouTube channel, and he doesn't know that yet.
Wait, what?
He does. He does.
He does.
Oh, he does?
He got locked out. Yeah.
Yeah, someone on Rockfin, Gene, said Ron Placone was shut out of his YouTube account also.
Okay.
Yeah.
She also said I didn't know. But
we mentioned that earlier.
Is it Gene or Jean? I don't know.
Oh, man.
Jean.
Okay.
Gene.
So this is from Redfish. Members of the Orthodox Jewish community rallied outside the UN headquarters in New York City yesterday to voice their opposition to Israel and its atrocities against the Palestinian people. They believe Israel has hijacked Judaism and its actions are antithetical to their Jewish belief. And I will play the video right now. Actually, should I mute myself? Yes, I'm gonna mute myself. Hang on.
We oppose the existence of the state of Israel. We declare that they have hijacked our name, Israel. They call it the Jewish state, and that's totally false. The Jewish law does not permit us to steal, to kill, to occupy, to oppress.
Yes, and I love this because how the hell are you guys gonna, like, we still stand, they make our government leaders stand for the Holocaust, you know, but these people are, how are you any better than the Nazis now? You know, like I just don't get it. How can these people really look themselves in the mirror? Because I try not to think that somebody can be totally like really evil and empty like that, but some people just have to be, because the world is like it is right now, and these things are actually happening. And I love to see them out there. We need more of it everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Hopefully we can find somebody to get it. We can get them on the show. Hopefully, somebody.
Yeah. Thank you, Sabi. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's funny. I lived in a Jewish neighborhood when I lived in Brooklyn, and they were the Hasidic Jews, like the ones that you just saw on the video. And I could never imagine them being okay with what's happening in Israel. I could never imagine them being okay with that. Now, I think that, with religion, there's issues with all types of religions. It just is what it is. There's issues and there's problems. But one thing that I did learn from them is that how important community and family is. And I just could never see them doing something like that. Could never see them doing something like that. So it's just, it's good to hear them speaking out, because I think we need to hear from other people, because I know that a lot of us have spoken out about it. Cornel West has spoken out about it, but I think it's good to hear from people who are of the same faith.
Thank you very much for that. Jackie, your thoughts?
I agree with Sabi. Except for I didn't grow up in Brooklyn. I've never been to Brooklyn because the West Coast is the West Coast. But aside from that, I agree with
Forget it, Meg. Go.
I was trying to say I agree with Sabi. We're coming together on this.
Anyway, I heard that little snide remark.
But Lee Camp and Eleanor Goldfield addressed this as well. They are both Jewish, and they were like, Israel has hijacked basically the U.S.'s perception of what being Jewish means. And I'm not Jewish, so I can't speak on that. So, go watch them. They're awesome. They do a show on Sundays.
Yeah. Also, Millennial Splain, I think she's also Jewish as well. Yeah.
And she said the same thing.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Meg, your thoughts?
I have to applaud them. Definitely. I love seeing that kind of solidarity. And honestly, it'll be very entertaining to try to watch Republicans try to spin this as them being anti-Semitic.
Yeah, that'll be
like this. That'll be truly entertaining. Like, no, they're the ones who are truly not the real Jews. Like, I'm sure Shapiro is probably setting something up right now. But
they did it to Bernie.
They did it to Bernie. That is true. They did it to Bernie. So I'm like, honestly, like, why won't they understand the difference between actual Judaism and the Jewish state of Israel? Israel is not a Jewish state. I mean, it is, but it's, come on. They'll call criticizing Israel, which is the Jewish government.
Yeah.
They'll call that anti-Semitism. But honestly, they don't give a shit. They really don't give a shit. The only reason that they give a shit about Israel is either for war propagating reasons, because Israel is, their little spy game in the Middle East, and where they can control, that's their control center. They control it from Israel.
Yeah.
So that's their little spot in the Middle East that they can control, and gives them access to that region.
Yeah.
It gives them control in that region.
They ain't got nothing else to kick back on you, Meg, because you can say this, and that. All they're gonna say, you're anti-Semite, you're racist.
They can call me all they want. I'm not the anti-Semite.
Hold on, ganja strip. You know what I'm saying? Like, people lives, people are dead. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Killed, and all they gotta say is, "Oh, you're biased." How?
Right.
Because I don't want people to be hurt, and it's so funny how. It's not even funny. It's disgusting how powerful religion has gotten in this country, that we fund it off to we shoot it off to other countries. We don't even supposed to put religion and politics together. We don't supposed to be funding any things like this when it comes to religious ideas taking over land and stuff like this, right? Because we have freedom for religion, right?
Yeah. And the other strange part about it is, of course, the fundamentalist Christians who are here in the United States, is they don't give a shit about Jewish people either. The only reason that they give a shit about Israel, because they want all the Jews to go back to Israel, and that way they can play out some, revelation fantasy. That's all they give a shit about too. They want Jesus to come back, which is just fucking ridiculous. So those are the two reasons that they care, is because of geopolitics and religious wingnuts. That's the only reason that anyone who is on the right in the United States, that's the only reason that they give a shit.
Well, liberals too, that they're like,
and liberals too. You're right.
But
and resources,
which I consider liberals right wingers. So
okay.
Another thing that Lee and Eleanor also mentioned is Palestine. Like, Palestinians are also Semitic.
Yeah.
Yes,
so when people say you're being anti-Semitic, like, being anti-Palestinian is being anti-Semitic.
Richard Medhurst also told me that as well on the show.
Yeah, because Arabs, Muslims, they're all considered because they all use the Semitic language.
So I just want to give this disclaimer just to it's not even a disclaimer, it's just a clarification. We're referring to the Israeli state. We're referring to the Israeli government. That's what we're talking about, Israel. We're not talking about the people. We're talking about the government.
They know that.
I know. But I just wanted to be on the record.
They're going to take whatever they want and run with it. We're not, no matter what we say, and no matter how many dead bodies stack up, no matter how many times we fund these dead bodies, no matter how many times we fund these bombs, they're going to say, "Hey, look at this hate. Look at this hate." No, look at the truth. We're telling you guys the truth. It might not be on a pillow. We're not going to present it to you on some type of pedestal. It's not happy all the time. It's not going to be your way. But damn it, we're going to tell you the truth. And I'm not about to hold back just because it's some hard truth. Maybe you need to hear it. Don't try to clip us and make us look bad. Go and clip what's happening over there and report on that. Report on that. So anybody, don't put no disclaimer out. Fuck it. I said what I said. Because I know who has power and who don't. I know people, you know what I'm saying, just running around don't have power like the government do, and they know that also. So take what the hell you want. Take what the hell you want and run with it. It doesn't matter. Because these people ain't serious about life or death. They just want their way. So fuck them. Fuck you. Clip it, bitch.
I was just going to say that I think sometimes they just use religion as an excuse for their hatred. Just like all religions in general. Like, same thing with people who say that they dislike gay people, and they'll say, well, the Bible says it's wrong. I think that's just an excuse, because the Bible says a lot of other things are wrong too, and they have no problem doing that.
Yeah, y'all be eating lobster and shrimp and shit.
Women talking in church, women teaching man, but come on now, where's the same energy, right?
Yeah.
All right then. Or capitalism inside of church, ties. That was done with the Old Testament. So what did y'all? Come on now. All right then.
Yeah.
These people just want it their way. They're gonna cherry pick all these little good parts that they can use to oppress the little man. Man, they better get out of here with that crap, boy. I don't care about none of your religion. That's why I see it. That's why a person like me can see what the Israeli state is doing to these people and just call it for what it is, because I'm not letting my religious biasness get in my way of, oh, well, Jesus and God and maybe is this and that. Like, no, even as Americans under the government, we have a separation of church, state and church. We don't supposed to be putting our tax dollars to this, because we don't get tax dollars from religious thoughts or religious actions. You know, they don't pay taxes, and we're just throwing billions of dollars at them. This is not the first time that we did this. This has been going on for generations now. So whatever.
Exactly.
Whatever. I ain't about to hold back for these people because they're gods and you're whatever. No, it's ill. It's ill. You're killing people.
So we only have 3 minutes left. Okay, so really quick, 30 seconds. Meg, what do you have coming up next for Sunday for your show?
I don't have a plan yet for Sunday, but I do have a video coming out tomorrow with my interview with Sarah Bennett Weiser, which was supposed to come out on Tuesday. So look forward to that tomorrow. And also, I guess I'll go ahead and tell Jackie. Want me to tell him what's going on Monday?
Sure.
So Monday, we are going to have a very special panel to talk about. We're starting our October Halloween horror series. So on Monday, we're going to have a special panel with Savvy, Rome, and Nick talking about Get Out! Get Out! Get Out!
Ooh,
that's this Sunday?
Monday.
Monday, Rome.
I'm looking at my calendar. Hold on.
Okay, great. Thanks. 30 seconds. Sabby, what you got coming up?
Tomorrow, I'm on FHL. I'm talking about segregation on college campuses. That's actually a thing that's starting to take off. They're starting to segregate some of the dorms. So a story came out about that recently, 2 days ago. So I'm going to talk about that. And then also tomorrow night on my channel, I've been asked to talk about the R. Kelly trial. So I'm going to do a special about that. That should be interesting.
That should be very interesting.
My mind's telling me no. Okay, Jackie, what do you have coming up?
Meg already said what we have coming up for Monday, but I would just like to say, like, it looks like YouTube is going through another adpocalypse. So please, like right now, yes, we have over 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, but we only have 2,500 subscribers on Rockfin. If our YouTube channel gets taken down, Rockfin is the best place to find us. So if you can, go to Rockfin, find us there. It's really easy. Just look up, I think it's just FHL. You can look up, we're at Fred Hampton Leftist. So go to Rockfin and find us as Fred Hampton Leftist and subscribe, all the fun stuff, just in case YouTube, gets it into their mind to do something with this channel. That's it.
Got it. Rome, what you got?
Rome's Rebellion is gonna only be on Rockman. Y'all not gonna catch me on YouTube anymore. Like, this is the only time I'm gonna be on YouTube. It's the Roundtables. So go to Rockman if you want to catch Rome Rebellion. And I got a new show about sex. It's gonna be talking about, blah 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 blah. Nigga, just go to Rockman. Basically, that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. And then on Sunday on the JB Show, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Jackie. I also will be doing a live Q&A, and that's pretty much all I'm going to be doing for this Sunday. I just want to thank everybody. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you to everyone for joining us here. Please make sure to go to our Ko-fi if you guys are feeling a little bit generous, because like we said, the algorithm don't like us. Please also to make sure to give likes and share this wherever you possibly can. This was kind of a fun episode, but we also touched on a lot of serious topics. And if anybody doesn't have anything else, then I think we are going to... We're going to end on time!
It's 6:01.
God damn it, Meg.
Girl, you just had to kill the vibe, didn't you? Just ruined it.
God damn it, Meg.
Fuck. Okay. Damn it. Oh, these stupid ass tabs.